So in the previous episodes, let's hurry this through because Balzac, the blue and gold, might be interfering. You see the love affair there in the background, more interesting than what I say. Previous episodes, yes, a group of British children stuck at the airport, then paperwork for their non-entry or something. And as I'm trying to do the paperwork, I see from the tourist office that there's something going on. Ceausescu had organized a rally, suicide act, and it was breaking off. And I went with somebody from the tourist office, a guy I used to know. We had not been friends really, but we became sort of friends, united by that ultimate experience of being heroes of a revolution. Indeed, if anybody was, well, except for a leader like Andrei Fințe, I said that he was many floors above us. But otherwise, we have been as much heroes as anybody else. Indeed, more heroes than the majority of those who got a title fraudulently, by fraud, pretending they have done things, they have done nothing during the revolution. We did, in the sense that we were among those who stood. And by the way, I was thinking, I should be proud of that. I mean, I caught in so many things. I forgot that this is reason to be really proud. I mean, how many people are there that can say? I mean, I didn't go. Somebody will. Somebody inside would say, "You, you loser, nothing, did nothing. You're a lazy bum." Still, I took the courage, being afraid. That's another important thing. I've read quite a few times. Most recently, I'm reading through The Guns of Navarone. And there's Stevens, who is afraid, a young man, injured, at the point where I don't know if he makes it through. However, the others, impressive. The leader, Mallory, the mountain climber, gun expert, Greek-speaking commando guy, Andrea, another impressive, strong, determined, brave man. They both say to the boy, he's very young, to Stevens, look, we are afraid. Who's not afraid doesn't survive, things like that. So I'm afraid. That's why I'm here. It's true they exaggerate a little for his benefit because he's maybe going to die. I don't know yet, but it doesn't look good for him. Conditions are bad. I'm not about that. But in the next few days, if you're interested, by the way, I will post a note. Not tomorrow, the day after tomorrow, maybe not. Anyway, in the next few days, it will be finished. And today it's another spectacular part of the series Alms for Oblivion. I discovered the fantastic writer Simon Raven, and this is the second out of 10. I'm looking forward to another 8 delightful volumes, and today I'm posting for the second, finished yesterday, Sunder Retreat. And to return, it's especially merit-worthy because I was afraid and overcome my fear. I mean, if I were to be stupid, brainwashed, drugged, and say, let's go there and fight the what, Securitate, militia, whoever, I don't care. So it's being afraid and overcoming the fear. That's I think reason to be good reason to be proud. And we were afraid. I was joking because we were so afraid. We hold hands at one point. We held hands. So yeah, well, that's a reason to be proud. Yeah, right. Okay, so that's what happened. Eventually, we moved from the square, Roman square, pushed. Um, I was saying memory was blocked. Maybe a defense mechanism. Maybe PTSD wiped out some of that. The stress of it all, the fear, as I said, the panic, the idea that, well, they could kill us, they could shoot, because they don't. It's a dictatorship. They don't allow dissent. And more than that, this was not just dissent. That was people were shouting, "Down with Ceausescu, Ceausescu, down with the dictatorship, down with communism." So it was a question of we were enemies of the people. And what do you do with enemies, traitors? You shoot them. The apparently that for quite a few hours for that long period, the best case scenario seemed to be jail. If they don't shoot the enemies, they put them in jail. So okay, but as I said, details are one. I remember something in some ways silly, funny for me. For the next day, thinking this is going to continue, I'm going to protest. I mean, sure that I'm going to protest, but just thinking something which didn't prove too correct. The scenario I had in the head, in the mind. So mistakenly, I was thinking, okay, so this is going to be a long day of waiting, standing around and moving around outside, and it's winter. And so if I'm going to be hours and hours outside, I better dress warmly. So I remember I also took on something like underpants, these men or something like that, because I was thinking, and I went thickly dressed, because I was thinking this is hours outside. I mean, in winter. Well, there were hours outside. That was correct, but I wasn't standing around. It was moving for most of the time. Very rarely we stood still. So in the end, the plan to dress for a blizzard. There wasn't any blizzard. I was thinking blizzard, but I was thinking just standing around outside. It will be cold, and I don't want to be frozen to death, or to have to leave just because I'm not prepared. I'm not dressed for the battle. Battle against the cold. At least I didn't have other weapons, but at least I could have some defense against the cold. So I don't know when that it was soon over. At the Revolution Square, mother and sister Madi were there. We didn't meet. We would only meet much later. I guess at night in the evening. So what I did, I went with crowds to the television station, the only one there was, state television, which would prove such a negative factor, a deadly element, in fact, in the next days, because they would give so much disinformation, so many people would go outside and travel to various places where the television called them only to die uselessly. because in the end we would find out that there wasn't terrorists, there weren't elite brigades from Iran, from Libya, from the Middle East, from Russia, from, in fact, there was nobody from anywhere fighting against a new system, against the new regime, let's say, against the people, against the revolution. It was just confusion. All the deaths that were counted during these days were accounted for mostly, almost all, by confusion, friendly fire. Soldiers shot other soldiers, coming because of wrong orders, because of disinformation and things like that, because of panic, because of bad training and so on. Soldiers had been used to raise crops from the fields and other things, so they didn't really have military training per se. Didn't know what to do. Officers were promoted not because they were good tactic strategy, but because they were political stooges. They were big fans of the communist regime or things like that. They were narrow-minded. Narrow-mindedness was not the usual criteria for promotion were used. It was also this joke. It's not what you know, it's who you know. So, Lala, there's some child doing some 1-2 lines of a song, and he recognizes music, and what he does when he hears music is Lala. That's his. He doesn't say music, but he says Lala, and then he starts his own. Ah, ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha. Sometimes he also laughs, imitates laugh. Ha ha ha. Băiatul meu. My babies. The revolution was good for something. I can have those 2 babies here. Okay. In the next episode, some of the things that happened along the way. I guess especially in the Revolution Square, and probably, though you never know for sure what sideline I choose to take and what blind alley or what alley takes me to the future or the United States of America.